Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back from fall break. It's so good to see everybody back. Hopefully you had a restful, healthy, safe time. And I'm going to be the first one that gets to start reading The One and Only Bob. So, I don't know if you started it over fall break. If you did, you're going to get to hear it again. And if you haven't, then please join in. I think you're going to enjoy this book just as much as we enjoyed the movie on the Friday before fall break. So, it starts out, confession. Look, nobody's ever accused me of being a good dog. I bark at empty air. I eat cat litter. I roll in garbage to enhance my aroma. I harass innocent squirrels. I hog the couch. I lick myself in the presence of company. I'm no saint, okay? And while I'm at it, I may or may not have eaten a pepperoni pizza with anchovies when nobody was looking. Also, I may or may not have eaten a coconut vanilla birthday cake when nobody was looking. Also, I may or may not have eaten a Thanksgiving turkey, except for the stuffing, way too much rosemary, when nobody was looking. Nobody looking, that seems to be the common thread. As they say on the crime shows, motive and opportunity. Name's Bob. I'm a mutt of uncertain heritage, definitely some Chihuahua and a smidgen of Papillion on my father's side. You're probably thinking I'm some wimpy lapdog, the kind you see poking out of an old lady's purse like a hairy keychain. But size ain't everything. It's swagger, attitude. You gotta have the moves. Probably I should have been named Bruiser or Bam Bam or Bandit. But Bob's what I got, and Bob will do just fine. Julia named me long time ago. She's my girl. She calls me Robert when I get on her nerves. Happens pretty often, to be honest. Numero uno. There's an old saying about us dogs. Goes like this. It's no coincidence that man's best friend can't talk. Let me tell you something. If we could talk to people, they'd get an earful. You ever hear anyone mention man being dog's best friend? Nope. Didn't think so. Way I've always figured it. End of the day, you gotta be your own best friend. Look out for numero uno. Learn that one the hard way. That's not to say I don't have a best pal. I do. Gorilla, name of Ivan. Big guy, and I go way, way back. Gorilla and dog. Yep, I know. You don't see that every day. Long story. I love that big ol' ape. Ditto our little elephant friend Ruby. They're the best. How we met. The first time I met Ivan, I was a homeless puppy. Desperate, starving, all alone. It was the middle of the night, and I'd slipped into the mall where Ivan lived in a cage. I wandered a bit, grateful for the warmth, confused by the weird assortment of sleeping animals I found there, checking every trash can for anything edible. There was a small hole in a corner of Ivan's enclosure. He was fast asleep, cuddled up with a warm stuffed animal that looked like a weary gorilla. He was snoring, and man, that guy snored like a pro. In his open palm was a chunk of banana, and I still get shivers when I think about this. I ate it right out of his hand. Guy could have squeezed his fingers shut and I would have popped like a puppy balloon. But he just kept on sleeping. And then, more shivers. I am either a maniac or the bravest dog on the planet. Probably a little of both. I hopped up onto that big, round, furry tummy of his. That's right, I climbed Mount Ivan. Crazy, I know. I have no idea what I was thinking. Maybe I was so exhausted, I went a little bonkers. Maybe he just looked so warm and cozy that I figured it was worth taking a chance. I did my bed boogie. Dogs don't feel right till we do a quick dance before settling. Once I had things just so, I lay down in a little puppy lump and rode the waves of that tummy like a puny boat on a great brown sea. When Ivan opened his eyes the next morning, he didn't seem surprised in the least to find a puppy snoozing on his belly. He refused to move until I woke up. I think he was as glad as I was to have found a new friend. Before long, me and Ivan were best buddies. We're an unlikely pair, sure. Ivan's calm and serene, a philosopher, an artist. I wish I could be more like that. No one's ever accused me of being level-headed. Hot-headed, sure. And I can't talk pretty like Ivan can. I'm a street dog after all. I'm proud of it. Still, we clicked in a way I never had with humans. Man's best friend? No way. Gorilla's best friend? You bet. Seems to me the first time I ever heard that phrase, man's best friend, was while I was watching TV with Ivan. Back in the day, Ivan had this little television and we watched a lot of stuff together. Old movies, westerns, cartoons, you name it. Poor guy was stuck in a cage, didn't have a lot else to do except throw meatballs at gaping humans. Anyways, me and Ivan, big fans of the tube. Cat food commercials, pro bowling, Dancing with the Stars. What's not to like? Once we watched this special on the Nature Channel. It was called The Amazing History of Man's Best Friend. Show was all about famous dogs. There were rescue dogs and therapy dogs and war dogs and fire dogs and movie dogs and this dogs and that dogs. And between you and me, most of them were just plain overachievers. Then they got to this dog named Hatch something or other. Hatchet Toe, maybe? Seems his owner died. For the record, I object to the word owner, but we'll set that aside for now. And Hatch something or other sat around for over 9 years in the same spot at the same train station, day after day, waiting for him to return. Thing is, the narrator guy was blabbing on and on about this dog. Really over-the-top stuff. How loyal, how loving. Break out the Kleenex, blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. Man's best friend. They made a statue of this dog. I kid you not. A statue of the dog who sat around 9 years waiting for a dead guy. In my opinion, that dog was a ninny, a numbskull, a nincompoop. Let me tell you about being man's best friend. Being man's best friend can mean a lot of things. Companionship, belly rubs, tennis balls. But it can also mean a dark, endless highway and an open truck window. It can mean the smell of the wet wind as hands grab the box you're in with your brothers and sisters and you go sailing into the unkind night. And still crazy as it sounds, you're thinking, but I'm yours. I'm yours. I'm yours. That's what being man's best friend can get you. a black highway, an empty box, and no one in the world but you. We'll have to stay tuned to see what happens. Thanks, boys and girls.